welcome to the channel. This is Recreates and Crafts. Today we're going to be working on some witch apothecary bottles for some shelving that I have in my dining room. So I have a collection of these amber glass colored bottles. I purchased them at Hobby Lobby. I did not know the price that I purchased them for at the time. I can't really remember. They vary in size. If I had to guess, they'd only be a few dollars a piece. They sell these all year round in Hobby Lobby. But I think at this particular time, you guys know how they do everything 40% off in there for the seasons. I might have even bought these in the fall section. This one I got at Dollar General. I believe it was $2. It had another label on it that I didn't really care for, so I removed that for today's purpose. I think I really like that one the most because of the green color. It's just kind of different. And I got all of these little labels from my sister. She was using them for a project that she had going on, a Harry Potter themed project. There's like so many different types of little bottle labels in here. And I'm going to borrow about 4 of these. These are some of the ones that I picked for these bottles. I'm not sure if they're the ones I'm going to use exactly, but I did pre-pick out a couple before I started filming. I believe these came from Amazon. They were probably, if I had to guess, less than $5. And it came with just this, really big pack of them. So it really is, it's affordable because you can use them for various projects. Now, I think I'm going to use this bottle first. I'm thinking dragon scale for this. I have an idea that I think I want to try out with some oven baked clay on glass. It's something I use pretty regularly on different projects I do. I like the length of this bottle for that, I think. This bottle, I don't think I'm going to use. I'm not really sure yet. Let's see. So, yeah, I end up starting here first with this little short, flat glass bottle. I'll wipe off any excess residue on the bottle, any oils, because these labels are stickers. So you want to make sure the sticker has a good, clean surface so that it doesn't come off. And I think for this one, it's going to be fairy dust is what I end up going with. Because I don't know, just something about green and fairy just kind of spoke to me. So what I'm going to end up doing is sticking this sticker straight onto the bottle just as a sticker. No glue necessary. Sticker on glass tends to stay pretty well. Center it up and rub it in really well to make sure that the surface is really good and stuck on there. I know I've said the word stuck and sticking several times. I'm going to remove this cork. It's glued in just a little bit. There was really nothing came in this bottle originally, but I'm going to put something in there later. I'm thinking glitter. So for the outside of this bottle, I think that I want to create my own little embellishment. What I'm going to use here is some air dry clay. Air dry clay is awesome. I love oven baked clay. But for this, I think that air dry is going to be the best because I'm just going to stick it directly over the label, directly onto the bottle, and create a little pattern around that label where the white part is showing through. I could have cut that off, but I didn't. But that's fine. What I'm going to do is cover it up. The air dry clay, I've had really good luck with it sticking to the bottle, and if you let it dry on the clay container itself, I think it says 2 to 3 days. It really doesn't take that long to harden up. To cure fully, sure, but what I'm going to do is, I rolled out a thin line, and I'm just going to follow along this white, outer part of the sticker label here. I don't need much because, like I said, it's just kind of an embellishment I'm creating. I'm not really trying to cover the bottle. I'll show you that later. So once I get it smoothed over and get that line removed where I just connected the two ends, I've got some tools over here. I've been working with clay for a while, just playing around. So I do have a little tool kit. You could use anything out of any drawer that has a little flat point. You could use maybe the end of a pencil. Any tools you have if you want to try to create a little, you could leave it like it is right now. You could use your finger and smooth out the edges onto the bottle. You could do whatever you like. That's the beauty of clay. But what I'm going to do is take the end of one of these little tools I have. It's kind of like this little spatula end, if I could find it over here. And I'm going to kind of create a little design edge around the whole end here. And if you didn't have air dry clay and you have oven baked clay, you could have just created this look first, baked it onto the bottle, came back in, cut the label out, and stuck it in the middle. Glass with clay on it does bake in the oven. It does not hurt the bottle because you're not heating it high enough temp. But with this air dry clay, I'm going to let it dry for a little bit and come back, which I'll do that off camera in a minute and show you. You know what this looks like to me? Sort of like one of those old brooch necklaces. I don't know. There's something about it that's really kind of has this antique pattern to it. I like it. I mean, maybe that's just me. You could have done anything you wanted. I really like it, and I mean, you want to keep it simple, you know. Let me clean up this clay real quick. Let it not dry out. Got to keep your area clear. I think I got this at Walmart for $10, by the way, this bucket of clay. And let me go ahead and let it dry. I've got some plans I was thinking I'd leave it the same color. You see how that matches right there, the color? But I'm going to paint it. So, it's dry. I got about a few hours here. I let it dry. And I'm going over this with, it's not gold. It looks gold. It's this yellow metallic paint. I got that from the Dollar General. It's I think maybe $7 or $8. Don't y'all love how I guess the prices of everything? I'm gonna I'll start keeping up with where I got everything and the price it is when I purchase new supplies, just so that you guys know, in case you want to go out and get it yourself. But any color paint would do. It does not have to be this color. I could have went in with a deep green. I could have left it alone. But I like the look of this metallic paint. It stands out. And when it dries, it's going to look kind of like this yellow metallic. I only use these, I use them rarely because the tube is so small. It's just this little metal tube with paint in it. But, yeah, I like it. I like the way this looks. I like the way it turned out. Just go through and kind of get all those little edges. We can clean up the bottle later. And make sure you get the inside. And don't be afraid to get a little bit on that label right there. This is not, nothing has to be perfect in crafting. It's fine. It's for you. It's not for anybody else but you, right? Unless it's going to be given as a gift. This is going on a shelf in my dining room. So let's clean up any paint that I kind of got there on the glass. This is just a piece of a rag. I try to reuse things, try not to waste anything. This is just a little piece of rag I had right next to me. Alright, yep, that is a tin foil funnel. I made that out of some foil that I had. It's what it is. Hey, it works, right? Use what you got. This glitter right here, I've had for years. I never really, I'm not a glitter person. I don't really get into using glitter, but I do have some in my collection. So I'm going to use it in this bottle because what sounds more like fairy dust than glitter? If I can get it all in this bottle right here. with my little homemade tinfoil funnel. And you don't have to fill the bottle all the way up. I'm just going to get enough in there so that you can see that there is some fairy dust in this bottle. Get some glitter all over myself in the meantime and all over everything. That's the thing about glitter. Once you use it, it just gets all over everything. If I can get it all down in there. Let's probably put a little bit more. Yeah, it doesn't go down in there by itself. You got to kind of work it down in there. I know y'all wanted to watch me put a bunch of glitter in a bottle today. But I'm just trying to show you the different ways that you could kind of create this little look here. You could have put anything in there. You could have put beads in there. But we went with glitter here today because I think it looks cool. I really love the look of this. So on to the next bottle. I chose the dragon scale label for this bottle. And what I did was take the scissors and cut the little white trim from around that label. And what I've got in my hand here is some oven-baked sculpty clay that I'm going to work through in my hands. And I'm going to put that on the surface of this bottle and create a dragon scale look. And I'm going to have the label in the center of that. So what I'm doing here is just warming this clay up a little bit before I put it on the surface of the bottle. And we're going to try to cover, not the entire bottle, but a good portion of the front. You're not going to see the back. It's going to be sitting on a shelf. So I'm not really worried about the backside. And that'll give us somewhere for it to rest a little bit when it's in the oven baking. But I am going to cover the whole front of this, because I'm going to cut out a little place for the label you'll see in just a minute. I mean, you got to work this clay a little bit. It's pretty firm when it comes out of the package. So I think I'm going to go ahead and finish this up off camera, and whenever I finish, I'll come back and let you see what I've got on here. And here we are. I'm all the way covered, about as much as coverage as I wanted. And we're going to cut this label out of the middle here, because it's going to be a place where the label kind of sets in to where the clay is going to be. I'll show you what I mean. Let me trace the outer part of this label, because that's where it's going to go when I'm all finished. So you just trace around the little edges. And we're going to remove all this clay from the middle. Yeah, I didn't really go very deep when I traced it, so I had to push the tip of this little point in there so that it cut the clay out a little bit better. But see how easy that come off? Not hard at all. Just get the rest of that little residue off. It does not have to be perfect at all, because you're not going to see right there, and that's where the label will be in the end. And I'm going to use the point of, I have a bigger one actually. I'm going to start on the other side. I'm going to use this point, this bigger one, and I'm going to create this little look of dragon scales. You'll see. It's just a quick technique instead of me having to etch out each one individually. I'm going to press this in and continue all the way down. And I'm not going to make you all watch all that. Just I'm showing you a little bit of what I got going on. I'll do the rest off camera in a second. But you just press the tip of the little spade into the clay, and it gives it these indentions. And I'll show you here. Yeah, I'm going to end up doing the rest of this off camera. So here it is. This is after I've gone down the length of the entire bottle with that little spade, just following the pattern. And it gives it this really cool look of scales. And once it's painted, you'll really be able to tell. It's just a neat pattern, just a neat technique. So I did end up going around the outer rim of that, where the label's going to be too, with just a little extra clay to give it some dimension. But, I mean, you don't have to do that. See how it fits perfectly in there? Yeah. I really like the way that looks. So, that's perfect for later. And I'm going to end up, let me throw some paint on here and let it dry before we put the label on. I think that's the better way to go. So, I've got that all-purpose black licorice paint I used the other day. And I'm just going to take a brush, and I'm not going to paint the scales black, but I am going to put some black inside of this so that when I go back over it with the dragon scale color that I used the other day, it gives it some dimension. But you don't have to do this. You could just paint it straight with whatever color scales that you wanted it to be. Purple, blue, green, I don't think anybody really knows what color dragon scales would be. And this is just, like I said, a bottle going on a shelf in my little apothecary setting, my witch's cabin, witch's cottage setting that I've got in the dining room. And I just wanted some unique bottles over there. And I've already got a few that have been in storage I pulled out that were really cute that I've already made. But I wanted to show you guys how to make a few different looks. So I've got all that painted with the black. It looks terrible. Right now, it's not very pretty. But I'm going over this with that green dragon scale color. I do have several other paint colors in my collection, and I'm really sticking to these two this week, but that's okay. I love it. So it worked for the cauldron, and it's a completely different look, and it's going to work for the dragon scales here. So I had to use it anyway. It's called dragon scale. I mean, you got to. So I'm just going to continue painting over all of this. I promise it'll start blending in a minute, and it'll give that black some coverage while the black's giving the inside of the scale some depth and contrast. Just brushing all this on. I'm trying not to go too thick with it because I know I'm going to do a second coat after it's dry. And I don't want it to fill in the scale portions too heavy, or you won't be able to see that. So this is after I've gotten it all painted with the dragon scale. 2 coats. See how awesome that looks? It looks way better in person. It is just a really cool little technique. It looks way, way better than it did when I started slapping that clay on there. And I'm going to paint the back of this, the whole back, I think, with this chalk paint. It's just matte chalk paint. I got it in the clearance aisle at Walmart for $4. I use it for lots of things. But why not paint the whole rest of the bottle, right? I mean, we've already covered the rest with clay. So we'll just go in and paint all the visible glass with the chalk paint. Just kind of being careful about not painting over your clay portion. Give this chalk paint gives the most awesome coverage, better than just acrylic paint. I think that's why people love it so much, because I mean, it's just one coat. Look, it's just covering that glass. I will do a second coat, but I mean, that's why I chose this kind of paint instead of acrylic. Everybody, if you like having paint, you already have different colors of chalk paint in your little paint inventory, or you need to go get some, because I'm telling you, it'll change the way that you think about paint. It's definitely, if I don't put paint gesso on something first, I almost always prime whatever I'm doing with chalk paint. It's just awesome paint. So let me go ahead, be careful still, I'm gotten a little bit on there. That means I'm going to have to touch it back up with the paint, and I'll do that off camera. I'll have to use the dragon scale and kind of fix whatever little boo-boos I made here, but that's okay. There's nothing you can't fix, Don't be afraid to get in there and make a little mistake, because it's paint and you can always fix it. Plus, it's the back of the bottle, honestly. You're not going to be able to see that. So, I don't know why I'm being extra, but if I wasn't being extra, I wouldn't be me. And if anything, I hope just seeing this little look of the dragon scales just gives you a little bit of inspiration to try something new today. I'm hoping at least one person tries putting clay on a glass bottle and, just whatever design. I'll have to show you one I made I made a vase out of a bottle. It's got a ghost face on it. It's pretty cool. It's in my bathroom, actually. But yeah, don't be afraid to try new things. I don't even think I told you when I baked it, it's $2.75 for 15 minutes, whatever the package tells you, the package directions, and it's not going to hurt your bottle at all. You got to let it cool all the way. Now, glass is hot when it comes out of the oven, but yeah, let me let this dry. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be lazy and still use this hair dryer. Yep, y'all, I have not gone to the garage. I could go out there. It'd take me 2 seconds, but why do that when I can just get my hair dryer out of the bathroom? I swear, I'm gonna go get it. I've got 2 heat guns in the garage. I mean, this is ridiculous. But it works just as good. I mean, if you don't own a heat gun, and they sell them, fairly cheap, Harbor Freight, you can use your hair dryer. But I love my hair dryer, and I don't want it to burn out, so I don't know why I'm being stubborn. But this is going to need another coat. So, yeah, you can see the streaks. We'll go ahead and get this all painted. I'll get the second coat on here. I'm not going to make you guys watch me paint for 10 more minutes. I'll go ahead and get this finished up, and then I'll show you how it looks when it's done. So, I actually think I'm going to put some of this yellow colored metallic paint that I used in the first bottle. I'm going to rub a little bit of that on top of the dragon scales to help them stand out a little bit more, just to give a little bit more contrast to the colors that I've already got on here. I'm going to use a brush just to lightly tap a little bit on here. Not too much. Just trying to go over the top of the scales, which this brush is kind of trying to go. I'm trying just to brush the top very gently. Just, trying to give it a little bit of depth, a little bit of contrast. That way, every part of the dragon scales aren't the same color. And this part doesn't matter. I could have just left it alone. I don't know how to do that, so I'm gonna, just get the look that until I'm satisfied with the way that I like it. But yeah, see, I've got the rest of that white painted, so the green stands out really well. I really love the way this turned out. I mean, it's much different than the first one. It gives a variety of different bottles on the shelf, and that's kind of the look I was going for. Everything that I have over there in those shelves is not like all exactly the same items. Um, if something stands out to me and I think it would look good over there, that's kind of the look I go for. You'll find that out about me. That I just really enjoy creating different looks for whatever theme I've got going on for that time. And it's also to the mood that I'm in at the moment. And I think I'm going to use this antiquing wax. And I don't really want the bottle to just be white, because it's a little too white. So if I rub a little bit of this on there and create that little kind of buffed out brown look, I think that would suit the theme a little bit better. Because, there's nothing white over there, and I think that this would have just a better look. Just tone that down a little bit, because it's a pretty loud white. Even though, like I said, you really won't be able to see it a whole lot. You'll see it enough to where I just felt like, you know what, let me rub and buff this out. Antiquing wax is pretty cool stuff. And if, depending on how you use it, will definitely give an antique vintage look to just about anything you use it on. I'm even going to put it on the front a little bit just to tone down all the colors. Why not? We're already rubbing everything down with this, right? Just get in all those nooks and crannies. And I didn't have to do this. You can do whatever look you want. I would love to see if anybody made a few glass bottle creations and how they turned out, if they used clay, and what look they tried. I'm definitely going to put these away after this season and use them again next year. I think it's really cool. Yep. But, of course, I don't think I'm going to just let it be like it is. Clean everything up here. Got to keep your lids on all your paints so they don't dry out. Yeah. I've got this brand new, hey, I've got a price on it, $3.99. This came from Hobby Lobby too, I do believe. I think so. Yeah, I don't keep up. But I'm gonna wrap this around the top here. And I could use hot glue, but I don't have that out right now. I'm gonna use this tacky glue. It's gonna work just as good if I can get it to come out of here. Tacky glue is awesome stuff. And it dries clear, but you could definitely use hot glue. That'd have been much faster. But once I wrap it around once over itself, it'll stay there and it'll dry, and it's not going anywhere. So I'm just going to go around this bottle and wrap it all the way around till I get to the top. I'm trying not to roll my little twine here into the paint that I've got all over this paper I'm working on. There's something from that rag sticking in my twine. See, this is making it look even better. Which you could wrap this with, wire. You could paint it around the rim. If you have a different color twine, if you have some yarn, that could work. But I think this makes it look more like something you'd see on a bottle. Just, it's what I had. And I hadn't opened it yet, and I was like, why not, If you got it, use it. And I'm going to use that tacky glue again to get that to stay in place, which I kind of cut it around towards the front. I could have done it towards the back, but that's okay. If I can get the top off of this thing. A little can go quite a long way with that stuff, so I'll just stick it in there. All right. And all that's left is to put the cork back in. I love this thing. I love this bottle. That was fun to make, and it looks cool. So, I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I hope that you guys like my unique idea here. But yeah, that's it. I love it. And lastly, like I said, I'm not going to use that other big bottle. I'm just going to do 3 bottles today. But I like this bottle too as well, but I'm going to go really simple with it. I picked out this poison hemlock label. I've already pre-cleaned my bottle, and I have some of these little clippings that I took from some faux fall flowers. And, you know, I want all 3 bottles to look pretty different, so we're just going to center this up, put the sticker on. Make sure we rub it in really well to get it to stay. Don't want any edges peeling up. See? I mean, just that right there. That's it. Everything doesn't have to be so muchness like I did with that last bottle. And this one's going to turn out just as cool. So I'm going to cut these where they'll fit inside of here. And I also want to give the illusion that the bottle's got, you know, a few things in it. So the more pieces I can kind of put around inside to make it look full, I think. And I'm going to use every bit of what I have right here. It's not a whole lot. I have no idea what hemlock would even look like. I'm being real with y'all, but I'm going to pretend it looks like this. And I'm going to shove this stuff in this bottle. And I've even got a leaf left on it. And that's going in there too. Just to give, you know, the look of that there is some type of herb, you know, well, hemlock in this bottle. These little pieces I had over here too. So, you know, why not? They're going in. Everything's going. That's it. I mean, that's it, y'all. I am going to do the same thing with the twine, though. Look at that. See, that's all this needed, and it looks great. See, just simple. But we will go around it with the twine and use the tacky glue again, because why not? And yes, that came from Walmart, and it was whatever price that label says. I'd have to go back and look at it. But it's not much, you know, and you keep it in your craft room on the shelf, it'll last forever. I've had that for like 5 years, and it's not dried out yet. So, good thing that yellow paint dried, because I'm about to put my scissors all in it, huh? Let's go around the edge of this bottle, which will use a bit more of the twine, because the bottle's a little bit water, but hey, whatever. Look how much twine we have, so much. And we'll just keep going around. Let me get this all out of the way and kind of unraveled some, so I've got some extra to wrap. And we'll go around this bottle a few times. And while I'm doing that, let me just say thanks for getting to this point in the video. Thanks for watching. I'm just trying to share a passion with YouTube land, and hope to inspire anybody that loves watching crafting videos and maybe needed an idea for something they were already creating. That's exactly what I do. I go on YouTube. I've got quite a few people that I already watch some of what they have going on, and if I ever need an idea or maybe a technique or something I haven't tried yet, I'm like, you know what, wow, I can do that. I've got those things that are in my craft room, and then I go and make them. You know, why not? And if you like to decorate for the season like I do, and I started August 1st, and I just add something to it every week. Bless my husband. He says he doesn't mind, but yeah, August 1st. In the South Georgia heat, I was decorating for fall. So I like adding, you know, giving something new to look at every week. And so this week I put some things on the shelves. And I'm going to show you all the faux fireplace and everything that I've put up there as a display. I spooky it up for Halloween, but for fall I try to keep it light. And Halloween for me starts October 1st, so for now, it'll just be a witch's cottage. And here's the end result. Thank you so much for watching. It means a lot. And if you wouldn't mind, click that like button as it helps out the algorithm of the YouTube world. And subscribe for when you want to know when another video like this is ready for you to view.